What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about this Harry Potter open world RPG. Now, from the time you guys are watching this video, I've recorded two pretty, in my opinion, depressing videos that are actually going to come out tomorrow. I wanted to remain kind of optimistic. I kind of wanted to give you guys an optimistic video for this one, while also being realistic, while also kind of talking about some of the ramifications of what's going on. But in regards to Harry Potter, again, there'll be another video out later today that's kind of depressing. There'll be a bunch of videos out tomorrow that I think are also very depressing, but I wanted to do one that's a little bit more upbeat while, again, talking about some of the more negative. So there is good news in all of this. Harry Potter is basically confirmed. Jason Schreier of Kotaku, we talked about this a few days ago when we talked about Batman. Harry Potter was kind of an afterthought, and then the Rocksteady game, I think, is like the last afterthought, which it's kind of interesting how that's become, right? Where it's like, very realistically, Harry Potter and Rocksteady's game could be better than this Arkham game, but because it's been around, because it's like a legend in its own right of not being announced, it kind of gets the front page, and then it's like, oh yeah, that Harry Potter game, the one that blew up the internet 2 years ago, yeah, that game is real. And I mean, because Jason Schreier said, like, they're going to announce the Harry Potter game. And again, we had known that a couple days even before. Somebody asked him, do you know about this Harry Potter game? And he said yes. So at this point, it's real. It's been being made for several years now, and that's awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to have an optimistic part, I don't know how much longer we can keep the optimism in this video, but to start out, for starters, it's really good. A game that people really were excited for, a game that honestly, and I'll tell you this, I never gave up on it. There's actual literal proof of me covering it from back when it first was announced, then covering it last May, I believe is when I started, maybe even last April, and I've been covering it consistently ever since. And I've never wavered on the fact that that game exists. Many people had jumped off the bandwagon. Many people had said that game's not real. Many people, rightfully, I would say, I mean, like I don't blame. By the way, that's the thing I should throw out. I don't blame people for jumping out. I also don't blame people when Magic Awakened, that name, was given to the Chinese RPG, or the card game. When it was given to a Chinese mobile card game, and it was called whatever Magic Awakened, people were like, well, that about seals it, right? But then I even had said in that video, it's like, well, no, like, yes, it sucks, and it's really weird that name got transferred over, but that leaked gameplay and like that stuff, that still happened, and that's still real, and like that game is not the Chinese game, right? So it needs to have its own, it is its own thing. So I had always stayed headstrong on it, and I'm really glad I did, because now I have like actual factual proof that, you know what, I stuck with it. I constantly said it's real, and then it actually is real. So it is very exciting. A Harry Potter game is something that I think a lot of people have been wanting for a very, very long time, and they've been done to insanely various degrees of success. Some are really good, some are absolutely awful, and then there's literally everywhere in between they've hit. A game like this, though, an open-world game, create your own character, 5th year in Hogwarts, you get to be bad, get to be good, get to go to classes, get to craft your own spell, or get to, craft your own whatever you want to craft, do different spells, all this different stuff, fight different kinds of enemies, make your own decisions. I mean, my God, it's absolutely, you go back to it. You go back to those leaks, and you go back to what this game was talked about when it was first announced, and now we do get to go back to it and say, wow, I mean, if that game stayed put, if that is still this game, which it is, but I mean, what I mean is, like, if they change things, has there been like drastic overhauls with certain things? Because I'm not fully expecting everything that was leaked, like those, because they're not necessarily like promises. It was just like, when it was leaked in October 2018, these were the things that were talked about. These are what they were working on. That doesn't have to still be in the game now. Not everything. I would expect most of it, right? But so I'm not basing all of my expectations on those things, but I am leaning into them pretty darn heavily. I think it's fair to look at those things for a good baseline. So that's all the good news. It's real. It's been being made. It's happening. It'll eventually be shown. It'll eventually come out. Now, let's all take, I'm gonna turn on my robot monotone voice. The negative news is this. When this thing was announced by Jason Schreier, and when when it was announced, basically, Warner Bros. Was going to have an E3 press conference, they were going to show these games, all that kind of stuff, that's awesome. And I had said, even actually a couple hours before that happened, I said, here's how you should go about announcing these games. Don't announce them at the same time. Don't even do it at E3. Do it right before, or if you are going to do it at E3, here's how you do it. I made that video. Obviously, things have happened in this world since even a few days ago. These things are rapidly moving, right? And again, even in tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk about Fast and Furious 9. I'm going to talk about Batman Arkham, how it affects those two things, this thing going around the world. I'm going to talk about how it affects those two. But for Harry Potter, it does affect it because, one, well, what would I expect to see from it? Truly, even before all of this, even if, as we got closer to E3, and E3 was still going on, right, in this fictional world, E3 was still going on, we were getting closer, and like rumors started spreading of Harry Potter, I believe right now in my heart of hearts that I would have continued to tell you guys, just expect the trailer, that's it. 1.5 to 2.5 minute trailer of the game. You'd see some cinematics. You'd see maybe some flashes of gameplay. Maybe not even that, but it'd be like in the game engine, and you would say, oh, this is probably like them doing something in the game. Like that's them capturing it. Stuff like that. Like a nice mixture, but no more than like 2 or 3 minutes. Truly, that's what I would have said 5 days ago. That's what I said a week ago. That's what I would have said in a month from now if all this stuff still happened. That's what I would expect if they still do their own thing. If they announce that they're still doing their own thing, which I do expect. Now, again, with all the stuff going on, do things get pushed? Do these companies, do these development teams, do they get closed down? Do they have to work from home? Can they work as productively from home as they could have from the office? Because if they can't, then you can't put a trailer together. Then you can't finish your game. Stuff like that. So those are things you absolutely need to consider when talking about this. So when it comes to Harry Potter, again, I would expect the trailer. I would expect it to be at Warner Bros. Whatever. If they do this online thing where they announce 4, 5, 6 games, whatever they want to do, I would expect Harry Potter to be there. But the question I have, if you want to talk about when we will see this game, is if they do, it's a big if they do that online, let's say like convention thing from Warner Bros. Right? If they do a thing, they show Batman Arkham, they show Rocksteady, they whatever the game is, Justice League Suicide, they show Harry Potter, they show Monolith, they show the Superman game, right? They're showing all these games. That's if they do it, and I would fully expect them to. In fact, Microsoft even announced yesterday, from when I'm recording this 2 days ago, I believe, Wednesday, from when you guys are watching, Microsoft had said, even with E3 cancellation, we're going to do an online thing. We're going to throw like an online event, and we're going to announce a bunch of stuff. That's great, but and I'm all in support of that. And by the way, I'm not also supporting not doing that. I don't want to get that confused. Again, I'm on the think practical. I'm on the be safe, but don't overreact, which is what a lot of people are doing. So I'm not in the close everything down, cancel everything, shut everything off. I'm not in that camp, but the world honestly is. And so it's not necessarily about what I think anymore and me kind of like assuring you guys or saying, well, this is what I think. Because, I try and say, well, this is what the industry does. These are some historical things that they've done. So I'm looking at history. I'm looking at how they normally operate. And the sad tragedy is they operate with the mass, which is in fear and panic and mass hysteria. So because of that, yes, Microsoft promised it. Yes, Warner Bros. Could say it tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. They could say, we're going to throw this thing May 28th. We're going to have this event. That's fine. But in 2 weeks, if things continue to get worse and they shut down everything but grocery stores, which is what they have done in Italy, say they do that here in the U.S. And again, I understand these companies are spread. They're not even all from America, but it's worse in other places of the world, right? Maybe Canada, maybe, where, pick your place. Literally pick your place. So I get I'm only talking about America for the moment, but it affects the entire world. That's the bigger thing to talk about. And I believe this studio is actually, Avalanche Software is actually in America. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So that's something you definitely have to think about. If things continue to get worse in a few weeks, how does that affect these promises? Vin Diesel literally said like 3 days ago that Fast 9 is staying in that spot. In fact, for when I'm recording this, I believe he said that the day before it was postponed. He said he was on the Today Show a day or two before. He said that it's staying there. We're not moving it. Literally, a day or two later, it was moved 11 months. So that is a good example. I mean, yes, that's a movie. It's not a game. But that is a good example that even things that are promised now, even games, Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Marvel's Avengers, Predator, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil 3, all of these games, yes, they're promised. They're like guaranteed, right? They set the date. It could change in a day. It could change in an hour. And that's it's sad. That part is the scary part. The things that the world is doing, the fact that, and again, we're looking at it from an entertainment perspective, movies getting delayed, games getting delayed, gaming conferences getting pushed, stuff like that. I get that there's more important things, but that in itself, or even what's going around in the world, That's the scary part. Canceling events. People ransacking, people raiding stores. That's the scary part. To be honest, the thing that's going around the world isn't as scary or as something as worrisome as what the world is doing because of it. That is the scary part. That's the pathetic part. And ultimately, that's just how the world is. And it sucks, and we shouldn't be this way, but we are. And I know I got very much on a complete tangent. I wanted to start the video positive, and I think I did. But Harry Potter is real. Harry Potter is coming. Harry Potter exists, and one day we'll be able to play it. But will that day get delayed? Has that day been internally placed by them, and now because of all this stuff, they're moving it? Has the announcement of it been placed internally by them? But who knows? A day from now, a week from now, a month from now, do they move it? That is the bigger question. That's the thing that I'm interested in. That's the scary part. That's the worrisome part. That's the part that sucks the most, but that's the part that everybody seems to be focusing on, right? So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited for Harry Potter? What do you think about what I said? Will it get affected, basically, by all this stuff going on? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. That's still free. That's still operational. That still works. Subscribing, hitting that bell icon. You guys don't need to leave your house for something like that. Maybe I can start to word things like that and get more subscribers, right? Just kidding. Just kidding. Stay safe. Stay practical. Think for yourselves. All of that kind of stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next video.